Well, welcome everyone. We have a very exciting day today. We have introduced another lovely book into the world. It is called Shh, written by Christina Dendy, and she's going to tell you about the illustrator. She's going to tell you many wonderful things on this call. I see classrooms. I see other authors in here.
Oh my
but
goodness.
Without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to some special people. My name is Maria Desmondi. I'm the publisher at Cardinal Rule Press, and my job is to help bring creative people together to create beautiful books. I would also like to introduce you to two special people here today. One is Christina Dendy. She's going to wave her hand. Yep, she's the author. So she wrote the words of the story. And we also have another special person. Her name is Anne with an E, and she is an interpreter from Miami Valley. So for those who have difficulty in hearing, you will be able to tune in to Anne. Without further ado, boys and girls, I'm going to step aside and allow Christina to share her story officially with the world. Christina, it's all you.
Hi, hopefully everybody can hear me. I'm so excited to see everyone today. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining us. Thank you, Maria, for hosting. And I'm so excited to have Anne with us today interpreting. She's amazing. I hope you guys get to enjoy watching her as well. So, hello. I am the author, Christina Dendy, of this book here today that we're going to be sharing with you. And I'm so excited to share Miss Dinah. Here's Miss Dinah and Miss Chloe. They've been waiting a long time to come out and see everybody. So they're excited to be here, and so am I. You guys are actually the first reading I get to do. So this will be exciting. Bear with me. So we have Dinah and Chloe today. The title of our book is Hide and Shh. And it's a not so sneaky sister story about inclusion. So the two stars of our story are sisters, but really this story can be about any two or more kids who are trying to play together or do something together. I see a lot of young faces out there today. Some of you might be siblings or cousins or friends. I see a lot of classmates, and I know a lot of times you have to do fun things together. Sometimes you have to do work together, games together, and sometimes it works really well. Sometimes it maybe doesn't work so well, and you have to find a way to figure out how to do those things together. Maybe you take turns, maybe you share your ideas. So in this story, we have up at the title, we have this shh part. And maybe some of you know someone who sometimes has a hard time with shh, either when they're playing hide and seek, like in this story, or maybe in the classroom. I'm sure that never happens to anybody. It's hard to stay still and quiet sometimes. So we're going to find out how Dinah and Chloe figure out how to play together and see how Dinah figures out this shh part. And just real quick, there are two names down here at the bottom of this book, and I'm the author. But there's this other wonderful name here, Nathalia Takeyama, and she is the amazing illustrator. I can even show you a picture in the back of the book, who did all of the fabulous artwork for this story. And she brought Dinah and Chloe to life. And I hope you love the pictures as much as I do and how she did that. So if you guys are ready, we're going to get to the story, okay? So here we go. Hide and shh. There's some interesting stuff in the front there for all you teachers and parents and librarians. All right. I'll bring the book a little closer as I go here. So Dinah has waited all week to play with her sister Chloe. Through Chloe's trumpet practice and robotics league, through her own speech class and gymnastics, through school homework and all the busy making stuff they do. I'm sure some of you stay pretty busy out there too. It can be hard to find the time to play, huh? But today is Sunday. That means fun day. Dinah spreads out her favorite animal cards. She loves making silly animal sounds. Dinah grabs a monkey card and dances toward her sister. Eat, 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 she chants. But Chloe darts out the door. Dinah hears voices outside. It must be Chloe's spy club time. Chloe and her friends love to play sneaky spy games. Dinah picks up her cards. So you can see Dinah's looking a little sad there. She was looking forward to playing with Chloe. And Chloe maybe doesn't mean to, but she kind of takes off to do her own thing. So let's see what happens. Well, if Chloe can't join Dinah, then Dinah will join Chloe. But she needs spy clothes. So you can see she's going through her box of clothes here. Ready, she says, and Dinah clomp, clomp, clomps outside. Dinah waggles her hands to sign play. Me too, she says. Shh, Chloe says. Dee, we're being spies. You can see down here. So Dinah's ready to play. Dinah's here, Marco says. Hera whispers, we have to be sneaky. I'm sneaky, Dinah says. All right, hide with me, Chloe says. Shh, Chloe whispers. Lie still, like a stick in the grass. Dinah tries. 1, 2, 3. You can see her other friend over here counting. But being a stick isn't much fun. Dinah knows how to have fun. Let's see what she does. She pulls out a card. Remember, she has her animal cards. Snake. Dinah lifts, slithers, and hisses at Chloe. Hey, gotcha. Dinah laughs. Fun. Chloe frowns. Not fun. Good one, Dinah, but sneaky spies stay still, Deshawn says. Dinah taps her fingers to her palm to sign again. Chloe crosses her arms. Okay, but this time, do what I do. Shh, Chloe whispers. Crouch down, like a rock in the bushes. You can see here's the little rock. 4, 5, 6. Her other friend is counting. Dinah tries. But being a rock isn't much fun either. She peeks at another card. Butterfly. Flit, flit. Dinah flutters, flaps, and whaps Chloe. Ouch. Oops. Gotcha. She got found again. Dinah laughs. Fun, fun. Chloe huffs. No, not fun. Cool moves, Dinah, but sneaky spies keep quiet, Hera says. Chloe points. Stay here, watch, and listen. And Chloe scurries off alone. Dinah watches and listens, and then she hurries after Chloe. Chloe stands straight, like bark on a tree. Dinah tries to do the same, but a bird zips by, just like one of her cards. Crow. You can see her friend counting 7, 8, 9. Caw, caw. Dinah swoops, loops, and oops, crashes into Chloe. Oomph. Gotcha. Yes. This is frustrating, says Chloe. I know, Marco replies, but Dinah's having so much fun. Let's keep trying. You can see they kind of have a collision there. Dinah stamps and signs play again. Chloe stamps back. You're not being sneaky. Dinah stomps, stomps, stomps away. They don't get it. Her way is more fun, isn't it? Dinah watches and listens. Maybe their way is fun too? Sneaky fun? Dinah smiles. She searches through her cards. Remember, she has all those animal cards. Chameleon. Chameleons can be still and quiet. They even change their color to blend in. They have a superpower. There's the chameleon there. They know just how to hide. She found an animal that hides. I wonder what she's going to do. Let's see. Dinah skitters, creeps, and hunkers down. She squeezes her body tight enough to squeeze out all the wiggles. Then she breathes deep enough to breathe out all those giggles. Dinah stays still and quiet like a chameleon. Is she doing it? Through counting, Dinah, there's Chloe looking for her. Through seeking, where'd she go? Is she hiding? Is the other friends looking? Through finding, she must be. Did she stay hidden? Gotcha. Dinah jumped out and got her. Not bad. Super spy moves. Sneakerific. Chloe laughs. You did it. This time, Chloe signs and asks, want to play again? And Dinah shakes her head and holds up her cards. She signs pick. She's got her cards out there. So Chloe does. Frog. And Dinah squats. Hop, hop. Okay, Dee, Chloe says. Animal spies it is. And Dinah springs and leap, leap leads the way. There they go. And that was our story.
Hooray! Ladies and gentlemen, if you have a mute button, I'm going to ask you to unmute and we are going to give a big round of applause. And actually, I have to say that the illustrator popped in during the reading. She was there for the reading and then she popped out. So we'll give a round of applause to her too. So ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big round of applause to Christina, our interpreter, and illustrator.
Thank you, Anne.
Nathalia. Thank you, everyone. All right, well, we're going to say goodbye to Anne. Goodbye, Miss Anne.
Bye, Anne.
And we are going to take some questions and ask our author, Christina, a little bit about the story. So Christina, first of all, you have a beautiful bookshelf behind you. And I know this is not the first book you've ever written. So tell us a little bit about your book, The Wall in the Wild.
Oh, okay. So you surprised me with that one. I've got that one back here. So yes, this was my first book. It came out a couple years ago. It's called The Wall in the Wild, and it was with another wonderful illustrator named Katie Roos. And this is about a little girl named Anna who decides she lives in a village that doesn't have a lot growing, and it's at the edge of a wilderness and there's not much there. And she decides that she wants to grow the perfect garden. And she has some very definite ideas about how to do that. And one of the things she does is she throws out all the seeds that she thinks aren't quite perfect enough. Maybe they're a little too small or a little too big. Maybe they're too flat, too thin. Maybe they have some scratches and bruises on them. And what she finds out is that the seeds she's throwing out keep growing anyways. And she learns a little something about how lots of different plants thrive when they grow together, and how diversity can be a really good thing, whether it's in nature or in our communities.
Oh, lovely. I love that explanation. And you have some character dowels behind you as well. And I'm spotting one of the characters. I think there's both of your characters from Hide and Shush. Show us those amazing characters.
Here's Miss Dinah. And these are from, I'm knocking over all my books, pardon me. I'm revealing all of my history books behind my picture books. That's the other thing I do a lot, history. So here's Miss Dinah and Chloe. Oh, there we go. we can sneak and peek. Oh, so here's Dinah and here's Chloe. And these were made by a wonderful artisan who lives all the way across the ocean in Turkey, another country.
They're beautiful.
So, and she does a great job. She also made, she made an Anna for me. So I have Anna as well.
Oh, they're beautiful.
And
They're beautiful.
I actually got that idea from another author, Charlotte Offsay, who she first reached out to Olya to make these wonderful dolls. And I found out about her from her. So
I
she does
think
a fantastic job.
for the boys and girls listening, when you hear people say that their characters came to life, that's an example of exactly what we're talking about. The characters are something that Christina can hold. She can touch them.
They like to travel to different classrooms with me. And so when I do story times, they come, they often get passed around a little bit, maybe loved on and hugged some. So they get lots of attention.
It's beautiful. And one of the biggest questions, and boys and girls, I know we have a lot of friends in the classroom, so go ahead and ask your questions to your teacher, and the teachers will go ahead and put those messages into the chat. It'll go right to me and I will ask Miss Christina. But Christina, can you start by sharing with us, where did you get the inspiration for this story?
All right. That's always the first question. You would think I would have this response down by heart by now. So my ideas come from a lot of different places. I'm sure some of yours do too. The easiest answer is just from the people in the world around me. So I'm sure if you guys, I see a lot of students, if you're writing a story or drawing a picture or maybe building something in Minecraft, your ideas probably come from things that you've seen and experienced, or maybe something you've heard from somebody else. And so do mine. So in the case of hide and shh, part of this idea came from playing longer ago than I'd like to remember, with my own friends. And we were hiding once, and I remember we said, shh, be a mushroom. And I used that as a teacher and as a parent sometimes with my children and students to try and get them to sit still and quiet during something. And so there was that idea in my head. And then there was watching my children play hide and seek and their friends. And some of them could stay really still and quiet. My youngest son is very good at hiding, and he has been ever since he could walk. And then my daughter was a little, she didn't take to the still and quiet quite as well. She would always give herself away. And maybe some of you know somebody like that who can't, they start giggling when they're hiding, especially if they hear you getting close. And so sometimes they played well together, and sometimes that would be frustrating. So the idea for the game came from them and watching their dynamics as siblings and other friends. And then also Dinah, our main character here, she has Down syndrome, which is a genetic condition that has to do with how all the building blocks in her body work together. And I've worked with a number of adults who have Down syndrome, and we are lucky enough to have a number of family friends with young people who have Down syndrome or another developmental difference also in our family. And those people are very important to us, and expanding representation and inclusion for lots of different people in books, especially in children's books, is very important to us. And so a few years ago, when I was looking for more diverse books, they were a little bit harder to find. And the publishing has come a long way in recent years, and you see a lot more diversity. But several years ago, it maybe wasn't quite there as much. And so when those other ideas popped in my head, Dinah popped in my head too.
Yay!
So that's a bit of a long answer.
It's okay. And it leads me to my next question. We have a lot of student questions coming in. Octavio, a second grader, is asking, what is your favorite part of the book? So I'm wondering if you can please point to your favorite part.
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. So let's see. One of my favorite parts is actually at the very beginning, as far as the illustrations go. I love this first spread where you get to see Dinah and Chloe doing their different activities. And I love this because Nathalia has really shown them being their own people and doing their own things before you even get into the story where they're doing things together. And so I really enjoy that. And then I love the different places where Dinah and the other characters jump out at each other. And where is it? So, but this is probably the very back here where Dinah says, "Gotcha," after she's managed to stay hidden. And then all throughout, she kept giving them away and somebody else kept jumping out and getting them. And then this time she got to stay hidden and they couldn't find her. And she said, "Got you." That's probably my favorite part there.
There is another question. How many books have you written? Now, I know that you have a couple picture books, but you also do a lot of support and writing in other areas as well.
Yes. So I have 2 published picture books. I have some others out on submission, so we'll see what happens there. I also have 3 historical graphic novels. Those were published several years back, though, and those were through a Canadian publisher, so they tend to circulate more in Canada. And then I have a lot of different other kinds of writing in textbooks and in online courses and poetry, short stories, some different types of articles, a lot of encyclopedia articles. I happened to have some up the other day, and my children were very excited that I had a bunch of encyclopedia articles about dinosaurs that they hadn't realized that I'd written. So they thought that was pretty cool.
That is really fun. We have Crystal, who says that her cousin has Down syndrome, and she's very thankful that you wrote this book. So she says, thank you.
Thank you.
We have another listener who is asking how you became such a good reader. So I think the children and the participants enjoyed your reading voice. So can you tell us a little bit about how you honed in on your skill of reading aloud?
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much. That's really exciting to hear, because that's actually one of the, I know some of you, do any of you guys get worried or kind of anxious or scared about doing something that you have to do maybe in class? So one of my things is actually reading out loud or talking to big groups of people. And that's something that I've worked on for a long time. And, part of what did that was, being a parent and reading to my children, because we read all the time. But then also just doing it and doing it again and again and again. I read another children's book not too long ago, and there was this line in there and it said, "Practice makes progress." Maybe you've heard practice makes perfect. This was practice makes progress. So you keep moving forward and getting a little better at something the more you do it. And so the more I read, or the more I work with students in classrooms, because I volunteer in classrooms and go in and help out there, the easier it becomes to read out loud and to do virtual events like this, where I see all these wonderful faces dancing across the screen.
Thank you so much. And we have a final question. And you did mention being a parent, and I believe I actually think I see a couple of parents in the audience that may be attached to you with the last
name, really?
Casper. That is correct. That is correct. Are your family members tuning? Yeah, see that.
Oh, I do see. Yep, there's Nana. So there's we have my children's grandmother. We call her Nana. Aww. And I'm assuming Papa is back there too. Yay! So we have them in there. And then I can only see so many faces at once. So I don't know. My parents might be there. I'm not sure.
I love seeing that. So
hello. Thank you for coming, guys.
I know. Certainly not least. My last question for you from the audience is, were you a teacher before you became an author?
I would say no, I was an author first. I've been writing in one way or another most of my life. As far as being a picture book author, I did teach middle school before my first books were published, and that was several years back. But I did teach middle grade and like I said, I've done a lot of tutoring, and I've worked with youth in different shelter services and other settings. So I've had a lot of interaction with young people in different ways that way.
Wonderful. And I said that was the last question. However, Adriana Church asked a really good question, so I'm going to go for one more. She asked, what type of conversations do you hope your book will spark?
That is a good question. So with young people, we talk a lot about, I'm sure some of you out there have heard this, play nicely, please play nicely with each other, play together nicely, take turns, share, do all these things. But sometimes it's hard to figure out how to do that, isn't it? It can be difficult to understand what playing nicely means and how we can take turns and how we can share. And, two big themes in this book are being flexible, which means being able to do things a little differently sometimes and to try things a different way. And compromise, which means working with someone else and maybe doing that, taking turns, hearing what somebody else has to say or what they think about something, and working together to find a solution that works for everybody. And so when you're playing a game, I hope it encourages young people to think about the different ways you can play and work together, because sometimes we have an idea about how something has to be, and it gets so stuck in our head that it's hard to shake that loose, because it just seems like the right way to do things. And Dinah, she does a great job self-advocating for herself and jumping into the game and playing with the big kids, but she tries to make it kind of her way early on because she thinks she knows how to make it the most fun. And that's not always fun for the other kids who are playing. So she thinks about it for a little bit and she finds a way to kind of adapt the way that she wants to play with her animal sounds and activities to the game, to being sneaky, right? Because you have to be sneaky when you're playing hide and seek. And at the same time, by doing that, she shows Chloe that, hey, maybe it's okay to shake the game up and do it a little differently too. And so I hope maybe it encourages you guys to think and listen when you guys are playing or working with other students. What's your idea? What's my idea? Maybe how can we combine those, or even just take turns doing things different ways? Sometimes it's fun to come up with new ways of doing things. And actually, I saw recently there's a link out there, and I can send it to Maria. I don't know if she would follow up with you. There are a whole bunch of different ways to play hide and seek that I hadn't seen before, which I thought was really fun.
Yeah, we can get that out to everyone in the email that goes out with the replay. Thank you. Yes, please send that along.
Okay.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are so thankful that you were here with us today in celebration of the new book, Hide and Shush, by Christina Dendy, illustrated by Nathalia Takeyama. And we wish you a wonderful day of play, flexibility, compromise. Go and have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming.
Goodbye.
Thank you.